Welcome back again, everybody. This is Boot Camp for Combat by Compass Games and Ross Mortel. I'm Cliff, aka Wee Beasties, and today in this unit we are continuing on and we're going to look at the initiative system for this combat game system. In combat there are turns, obviously, and within each turn the enemy and friendly teams can play in different orders. The orders are defined by the initiative values on their respective cards that they're playing. So I want to run through this process because you'll be doing this every turn. You just got to get into the flow. So here we are in sequence of play. Step 1. Phase 1 is the friendly card phase. If you're confronted like this with a blank deck, you've got no cards. Step 1 in the sequence of play that we covered is, hey, if you got no cards, draw one from the deck. You're completely at the mercy of the deck at this point, and that card, whatever you draw, you're going to have to play for initiative. That's one way to get cards. The other way to get new cards is to plan with a leader. We'll talk about the plan order again in orders. We're going to run through all of the orders in our next unit, where a leader could then add some cards, so that if you get to that point you can add in cards to your deck. Or at the beginning of a scenario you're usually given several cards. So let's say we're at the beginning of a scenario just for fun, and let's say the scenario gives you 3 cards. So we'll draw our 3 cards. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. And now you have a decision to make on turn 1 in phase 1, because you have to select one of these cards to play for initiative. And as I said last time, if you play a card for initiative and it has an order, that order will be in effect for that turn. So if we play this for its initiative values, 4, 38, and 26, we're going to be given a confusion order. So they will only get, your units are only going to get rally, sneak, or hide orders unless they're within 3 hexes of an enemy. And if this was the first turn of a scenario, you're not likely to be that close. So that's not so happy. If you play a discard card for initiative, you do not have to execute the discard thinking, quick thinking in this case. You don't play that. You just play it for the values, but you lose the ability to do this quick thinking. Whereas if you save this card and discard it during a play, then one team can swap their initiative counter with one to the left on the initiative track. So you can reorder your initiative and gain a little initiative if it's important to you in that turn. So you have decisions to make. Are you going to give up your discard ability? Do you want to play a certain order? And which of these initiative values is most important to you? Early on, initiative is not that critical, the specific order you're going in, but when you get into the point where you're in melee with somebody, initiative can be life or death. As I said last time, the initiative values for friendly units are even numbers. The initiative values for enemy units are odd numbers, so there's not ever going to be a tie to worry about. So let's say we've got to pick one of these. Let's say that, let's play the first card for initiative. We send this one to the initiative box, and off it goes. Now let's pull up the display mat. Our card now here is in for initiative. We've got an order, Panic is Spreading, that we're going to have to play this turn. So this is probably not going to affect us in an early turn because nobody's going to have lower morale right away. So that's not so bad. And our initiative values are 20, 84, and 88, and 20. The lower numbers are better, are going to be earlier. Now, as we go through we have to now, get it together, Cliff. So we've picked our cards. We've dealt with the card phase. We played one for initiative. We then give orders to all of our troops. We have to commit to orders based on our initiative and our inclination, what we want to do on the map. We assign orders to troops. We'll talk about the kinds of orders, like 20 different orders you can give to your troops. Then we move into the enemy card and initiative phase and order phase. And we'll start from the top of the map, and you draw a card for each enemy. Let's say it's red, blue, white, and yellow from top to bottom. You give them each a card. Red, blue, white, and yellow. And, oh, golly, look at those initiative numbers, the green numbers. This is going to help us to set our initiative. They're odd numbers, and you see that they are very low numbers. These guys are going to be playing early. So we compare the numbers, and earliest goes first. So the first group to play is going to be white with a 1. You can't get any better than that. Then blue with a 3, then red, then yellow for the enemy. But where do we fall? Well, our lowest is 20. So it'll go white, blue, red, Able, yellow, Baker, Charlie. So on our impulse and turn track, we've got white, blue, red. So white is first. Put it in the 1 position on the initiative track. Blue is second. Red is third. White, blue, red, then Able. Able is fourth. Then yellow is fifth. And then it was, Baker and Charlie. Baker is sixth and Charlie is seventh. You put these into their order. There are 4 impulses. So in impulse 1, white will execute all of its orders first. Every white character goes. It will get activated. If it's alert, it'll execute its command for that phase. It has the opportunity to spot any of your units that has LOS to, and it might duck back. Then you go on to blue, do the same thing, then red. Then your Able team gets a chance to do its thing before the last enemy group does. Then Baker and Charlie, tail end Charlie here, brings up the rear, move to the next impulse, do it again. So it is the cards that you draw and apply that are going to determine the order that everybody plays in. Now, that all seems fairly simple. Not all teams have an equal probability of drawing initiative values. In our combat statistics document, I have done little histograms of the different initiative values for your different teams, and you can see that they are not the same. Low numbers are better initiative, and you can see that in general, Charlie has much better initiative. So Charlie, which is going to be most of your characters usually, most of the time 6 out of your 12 are going to be in Charlie. These are going to have a lower initiative on average. So Charlie is more likely in the long run to have better initiative than your other teams, and you might want to put them in a position where you can take advantage of that. So if this was your fire base would be more often than not able to get an earlier shot off at the enemy. The enemy initiative values are evenly distributed from 1 to 99. There's 1 of each odd number. So basically, your initiative value tells you what percent of the enemy cards are better than you. If you have an initiative value of 50, half of the enemy cards are going to be better than that, and half are not. If you have an initiative value of 24, 24%, about a quarter, will be better than you. So you get a feel for how good that initiative number is. If you have an initiative number of 90, obviously almost all of the enemy are going to play before you, 9 out of 10 on average. Baker has a fairly even distribution, and this is where your Browning automatic rifle teams are going to be, if you have any. They're fairly evenly distributed, and then Able is probably the next best. Baker's probably the worst as far as initiative, so just keep that in mind. Overall, Baker is going to give you less low numbers in the long run. Able is middle of the pack. Charlie is your better unit for getting initiative values. So really, that is it in a nutshell. It is not hard. You just reset these each turn. So I should just be able to reset these. Yeah, return to the holding box over there. And you move on to the next impulse. And you set up your initiative order for each turn. It'll be different each turn, but once you've got it set, it is set for your 4 initiative, or for your 4 different impulses, unless you play a card that allows you to change the order of initiative, which is there but not that common. So that is the basics for initiative. I will see you guys next time.